Hi, I'm Darian. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I've been working on a huge video for pretty much the whole summer, and it's almost done, but I do need a little more footage, and I can't easily get the footage, so it's going to be a little bit longer, unfortunately. However, I do want to make a little, garden journal type situation. I was just going to write it down and then store it with my seeds and stuff, but I thought making a video would be fun, so that's what I'm going to do. So I didn't take great notes when I was first starting out. Fortunately, I do have a billion pictures of everything. So looking at the pictures, I can see that I planted my first seeds at the very end of February, and I remember thinking then that I was late for some reason. I don't know why, because I totally wasn't. I was actually way early. Here's a picture of what the plants looked like. In the middle of March, so just a couple weeks later. They took off. They really truly did, and they thrived. My little seedlings. I planted a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna go through the seeds later and tell you how each one fared, but not right now. Everything did great. Really well. My sweet peas, for some reason, did the best out of everything. Unfortunately, somewhere in the process of hardening everything off, just killed it all. The first day that I tried to harden everything off, it was too windy and almost everything died. So I took what was left of that and I tried to harden it off again, and the rest of the stuff died. So I restarted, and again, those seedlings did really good. Unfortunately, when I tried to harden those plants off, it was too hot. For some reason, I decided the little heat wave that was 95 degrees was the perfect time to harden off my plants. So those ones all died. So then I just planted seeds out in the garden. Oh, I take it back. Some things did survive. A squash plant survived. I don't know how, because the stem, it just is ruined. I don't know how anything is getting to the plant, but it's thriving in a pot. I don't know how. It is. Everything else I planted outside, and that all did okay. So that leads us to today. Here's what happened. Farmer's market tomato. Okay, this tomato that I got from the farmer's market, I never ended up trying it. It got moldy, so I just took all of its seeds. Well, not all of them. Some of them, 100. And I tried to plant those. None of these survived. My cucumber plants are thriving, and I'm really excited for them to have something for me to harvest. I love cucumbers. I do have two varieties, pickling and muncher, and unfortunately I think both of the plants are pickling cucumbers. They're very spiky. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I would have planted pickling cucumbers instead of munchers, or just one of each, and maybe I did plant one of each. I don't know. The little fruit on them right now are so tiny that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure at least one of them is a pickling. I hope the other one is a muncher. I hope. Oh man, but they are doing good, and hey, that's something, right? Sweet peas. They thrived when I started them inside. I didn't realize how early they had to be planted outside, and they died. My jalapeno peppers. Listen, this whole thing started because I tasted jalapeno poppers for the first time and decided that I loved them. I'm not a huge pepper person. There's something about the taste of peppers that I don't like. It's just a pepper taste that they have that doesn't agree with me, and I can taste them in anything. But the pepper poppers, something about the cream cheese cuts that taste, and they're so good. I couldn't believe it. So I decided I wanted to grow my own jalapenos to make my own pepper poppers. And they're very small still, and they don't have any fruit yet. And today's date is July 26th. So I do hope that they start to bear fruit here soon. I have 3 in a pot. Everything else I planted multiple things per pot, but I just thinned them as they got bigger, and these are still very small. I will probably take at least one out to give the other two more space. Maybe because there's 3 in there is why they're growing so slow. I don't know, I've never done this before, so here's to learning, right? They do have flowers on them though, and when I checked them earlier today, I did see like little tiny baby, what I think are gonna be jalapenos. It's hard to tell. I think it's finally happening though. Tomatoes. I did get 2 beefsteak and 2 brandywine plants to grow. The 2 beefsteak are in pots. One of the brandywine is in a pot and one is in the ground. I don't know what is going on. The beefsteak are producing quite a bit of fruit, but they're all like cherry tomato size. They're all like this big. I can literally go grab them right now. So these are my beefsteak tomatoes. I truly don't know. I don't know what's going on. It happened with the sunflowers too. I got mammoth Russian sunflowers. My brother actually gave us some of these a couple years ago, and they were huge, right? They grew to be like 10 feet tall, giant flowers. So I was like, all right, tell me what you got. I want to get the same thing. He told me this is what he got, so I got the same thing. My sunflowers are all growing very short. They're getting like as tall as my hip, and the actual flower parts are maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches diameter. So I don't know what happened with my sunflowers and my tomatoes. My mom picked these out. She wanted me to grow them for her, and they're thriving. They're just now starting to pop out a whole bunch of flowers, and I'm really excited to see what they look like. My squash and my zucchini are thriving. The zucchini is way ahead of the squash, and I didn't realize when I bought these that, oh, actually that's hilarious. The squash says that it's only 50 days to harvest, and the zucchini says it's 57 days to harvest. I thought they were opposite, because my squash is not producing anything yet. My zucchini, I've gotten 3 really good sized ones off of it so far. I just picked one today, and I'm really excited to eat it. That's actually interesting. So I don't know why the squash is not done anything yet. So here is the situation, okay? I started with 5 plants in the ground. I thought I had 2 squash and 3 zucchini. 3 of those plants died, so I thought that I was left over with 1 zucchini and 1 squash. At the time of filming this video, that zucchini plant had given me 3 huge zucchinis, and the plant next to it had not produced anything yet. But when I was recording this video, this outside video, I saw, as you're seeing, that it had a baby zucchini on it. So they're both zucchini plants, and I don't know why they look so different, why they're doing so different. I do have a squash plant in a pot that is not doing well at all. The little tiny squash it's giving me is turning brown. I probably just need to let it go. I am extremely happy though with the zucchini plants. I like zucchini. I don't know if I like squash, but I do like zucchini, so it's a win. The bell pepper, I'm growing these for my brother because again, I don't like peppers, and it's actually doing well. I didn't think this plant was going to survive because it grew, something dug in the pot that it was in, and the plant almost died. But I sort of put the dirt back around it. I watered it really good, and it got kind of weird for a while. It stayed very, very tiny for weeks. It didn't grow at all, and then all of a sudden it just popped up, and it's got 1 plant or 1 pepper that is almost ready to harvest, and another one that's a little baby. And then basil. My basil. I did plant some basil with one of my tomato plants. Oh, I never finished talking about my tomato plants. Yes, so the beefsteak ones are producing tiny, tiny fruit, and The Brandywine plants are not producing any fruit yet. The one in the ground has 2 very, very tiny tomatoes that are green still. They've been green for, it's probably been like 2 weeks now that they've just been little and green. Haven't changed. And the one in the pot has no fruit on it at all. And they're huge. Like the one in the ground is about as tall as my sunflowers now at this point, and it's got 2 fruits. That's it. So I don't know what's going on with my plants. If anybody has any insight, that would be lovely. So yeah, it's fine that my tomatoes didn't really produce this year because I don't really like tomatoes anyway. I wanted to make this year the year that I guess sort of weaned myself onto tomatoes because I want to like tomatoes. I guess I could eat one of these right now. I don't think I washed them when I brought them in the house though. Okay, here's what I'll do. At the end of this YouTube video, I will eat one of these tomatoes, but I need to go wash it first. Okay, sure, I'm doing that. Okay, back to it. Where was I? The basil. This guy who worked next door to my old job, he told me that if you planted basil with your tomato plants, that it was like a game changer. So I did plant some basil with my tomato plants. Unfortunately, the pot that it's growing in is the Brandywine tomato that has no fruit on it, so I can't tell you if it worked or not. Also, I've decided I don't actually like the smell of basil. It's the regular basil, though. None of the cinnamon basil grew because I put the cinnamon basil with the beefsteak and I put my regular basil with the Brandywine. And yeah, so there's no cinnamon basil with the beefsteak. It didn't grow. Okay, dill, I gave up on it because I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what was happening. So no dill, which is why I didn't want to plant any of the pickling cucumbers, and then I somehow did. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's been kind of a mess this year, and that's fine because it was my first year. So yeah, I don't know. Will I garden again next year? Yeah, I'm for sure planting another zucchini plant. The zucchini has been so good to me. And cucumber. I don't know what's going on with the tomatoes, honestly, I don't. Or the sunflower. I have no idea. My best sunflower actually was a volunteer that I do remember dropping a couple seeds on accident, and this one somehow made it over to like a perfect spot in my yard to just grow. The ones that I planted on purpose, they struggled. They struggled, and now they're dying and dead. So like they just didn't do very good. The real mammoth ones that my brother brought me a couple years ago, those ones did so good with hardly any attention at all. The ones that I had this year, they were so finicky. They were small and sickly to begin with. I just don't know what happened. So yeah, closing thoughts. I'm going to focus my efforts next year more on things that I really care about. We'll see how these jalapenos go. I hope that they go well. I'll probably plant those again. I will probably plant cucumbers again. Probably the munchers. I'll make sure I have the right ones. I do really want to learn how to pickle things. I don't know. I think I'm going to put less energy into the tomatoes. Maybe I'll try like 1 or 2 tomato plants next year. I don't know. Honestly, it's too early to say. I'm trying to like act like I have a plan right now. I don't. I'm just talking. So, all right, I think it's time I eat one of these tomatoes. I lied. I've decided I want to have the babiest of tomato sandwiches because that is what I wanted all summer long. I wanted to try my first real tomato sandwich, okay? So I'm going to do it. I've got toast toasting right now. And I'm really excited. I did want to remind myself for next year and anyone else watching, I did for some reason expect things to pop up way quicker and get bigger way faster, but everything took longer than I thought. The zucchini was the first thing to give me anything actually edible, and that was not until just a couple weeks ago. Actually, like a week ago. So, what? Today's July 26th. Probably like July 19th was the first zucchini I got, and that was the first thing out of everything to give me anything. So yeah, next year, don't expect to get anything in early July. Late July at the earliest. Alright. I'm gonna go get my toast and have my little sandwich. Okay. This is so silly. I am excited. I just did a little smear of Miracle Whip, my little tomatoes, and a little dash of salt. That's it. I've seen these be very hyped up. They don't smell good. They smell like tomatoes. And I have a feeling that it's not really going to matter if they're homegrown or not. I'm just telling you right now. I can tell by the smell. Okay, I hope they're good. I'm going to tell you right now, though, this is going to determine whether I focus on tomatoes next year or not. Okay, here we go. It like, my body wants to get the shivers, but it's like I want to gag, but I'm not. Oh no. Okay. It's weird because it doesn't really have a taste. It's kind of just slimy. And that's what I don't like about them, huh? Okay. It's not bad. I just feel like I'm tasting the bread and the Miracle Whip and the salt. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not bad, and I think I would like to experiment with different types of tomatoes next year. I wanted to end up with something, you know, like a beefsteak, without a whole lot of slime in the middle. I am disappointed that they grew the way that they grew. But what can you do? Maybe next year I'll order some from a website and get like a specific, I don't know, just get some different varieties. We'll see. We will see. It's like I don't want to finish this, but it's not so bad that I'm not going to. So. It's really truly just a texture thing. It's a tomato. Honestly, people hype up homegrown tomatoes so much that I was expecting a miracle. I did not get one. However, I am convinced that something went wrong somewhere in the growing of my tomatoes. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Thanks for joining me and for watching me make a memory. I've wanted to have a homegrown tomato sandwich for years, so I'm glad I finally got to try one. And I'm excited for a better one someday. Alright, and that's gonna be it. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. You're the best. Alright, bye. I look and I sound like an idiot. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Okay, well, don't say that.